Hi, everyone. Welcome to Late Night Snack. I'm Allison Kinnear. This is Voice of Her Own. And I'm doing this again for the second time because something was wrong with my Wi-Fi. So here we are again. Tonight's talk is on the importance of risk taking. And this is such a great topic because, as you know, I have been away for the last 3 weeks. We had 4th of July. We had my vacation, and then I got sick. My daughter was sick pretty much our entire trip, and then I got sick as well. So anyway, I am healthy, and we are all healthy, and we're back to life, which is great. But I wanted to talk about the importance of risk taking because I think it's such a great topic for summer. Summer is a time in which we do things that we don't normally do during the colder months when we're kind of huddled inside. In summertime, we are out and about. You might be hiking or camping or swimming more, just doing more water play, doing more activities that are outside. And for those of you who know me, I'm a big I love nature and I love the outdoors and I love it especially for children, and not only for ourselves. It nurtures our souls in such a great and profound way. And for children, they, as you know, if your child is ever out in nature, there's just this different kind of connection that happens. And it's such a beautiful thing. And I think outdoors and nature and risk-taking just go hand in hand in hand. And I wanted to share a few stories about that and also just to share the importance of risk-taking. And when I say risk-taking, I mean with our physical bodies, mostly our kids, right? When our kids are outside in the summertime, they're doing things that they normally don't do. They may be climbing more, running, jumping, getting in the water, doing things that they normally don't do inside. And with kids becoming more and more attached to screens and devices, the need to be in their physical bodies and not just in their heads. We know what it's like to get in our head, right? We don't want to train our kids to just be in their heads. We want them to be completely embodied. And so being outside is a great way to do that. And I will tell you, it's interesting. This summer, my kids, I want to tell you two stories about summer. The first is when my daughter graduated from kindergarten. She's the youngest in her class. She's by far very youngest in her class. And she wasn't yet reading at the end of kindergarten, but many of her classmates were. Now, I know as an educator that this is typical and normal, but you still get a little bit of that, oh, did I make the right decision? Should I have waited a year? Did I put her in too early? And her teacher, I said to her teacher, so what do we do for the summer? She's not reading yet, and I don't know, do you have any recommendations? And I was kind of like, oh, please don't tell me I have to tutor my kid all summer. And her kindergarten teacher said, no, just be outside. She's great. She'll get it. Just be outside, dive into summer, do all the things you normally do, go camping, go swimming, do all those things. She'll be great. And I will tell you, my daughter learned how to read on her own during a camping trip. Something clicked in her brain. And it's no surprise to me that happened in the middle of a 10-day camping trip because there's a lot we don't know about children's development still. And getting immersed in nature, getting immersed in the outdoors and doing things that normally she doesn't do, taking some bodily risks that she normally doesn't take, jumping off stumps and throwing rocks into the lake and doing those kinds of things we don't always know what that does for our children, but it does some pretty amazing things. And so we've really embraced Miss Hanson's advice to dive into summer when it's here. And the second story I want to tell you is about something that took place during these past 3 weeks. My son is a little physically tentative sometimes, and especially with new physical challenges, and so is my daughter, actually. And so there was this big pond. It was like a really deep pond, almost like a very small lake, I guess that's what a pond is. But and the first day at this place, my son was like, I'm going to be a rock lifeguard. And he wore his little vest, and he saw his friends swimming in the lake, and he just sat there and watched them, watched everyone, and was completely content being a rock lifeguard. And then the second day, he was a rock lifeguard again, but then he went into the pond just a little bit and then would get back on the rock and then get in the water and get back on the rock. And what was so great is that because we were with our friends, they were able to kind of coax him out off the rock, which is very different than when I love summer or these times when you can immerse yourself with other people, because they can kind of draw out different sides of your child. And so anyway, by the end of the trip, he was swimming all on his own, face in the water, full board swimming. And it's interesting, right? He had so many experiences with cousins, with friends, with aunts, with uncles, in different environments, different ways to encounter water. And for 22 days, it was just that, a lot of newness. And I think we as parents can get really protective of our kids, where we don't necessarily want to share our kids. Or sometimes maybe we do want to share them, but there are times in which we can get a little bit insular too. And it was just a reminder to me the importance of our children encountering people who are not us, who are not their parents. On this same trip, we encountered a 40-foot inflatable water slide at a water park that we went to. I mean, when I saw it, I was like, there is no way I'm going down that thing. But then eventually I did. And my daughter climbed up that thing. And when she first got to the top, she was up there with her uncle. And when she got to the top, she was really scared to go down. But her uncle was like, no, let's do it. You know, you said you were going to do it. She did it and was just like, that was amazing. I'm doing it again. And then she did it again on her own. Then we went to a different slide, and we went up there, and she was up at the top with me and my husband. And she got really scared, and I think because it was us, there was something about being up there with us that she wasn't able to kind of like tap into her courage like she was able to do with her uncle. So it's things like this that just is a reminder to make sure your kids are exposed to a lot of people. And the one thing I will say is that my kids are not necessarily risk takers, but I know a lot of children who are. And for some of you parents, you might be thinking, there is no way I want to encourage my kids to take any more risks than they already do. But here's the thing. It's amazing what children can do. One of our dear friends that we saw, hi, Nick and Emma, they flew in from Australia, so we went down to see them, and their little girl was almost 2, and there was this really super tight spiral staircase that their almost 2-year-old, you know, it's still kind of like big head, top heavy, gravity is really strong. She went up and down those spiral staircases so many times and almost gave mom a heart attack. And because when our children are taking risks like this, it can be scary for all of us. But Emma did such a beautiful job just trusting her as she moved her way up and down, and she was fine. She was really fine. Now, our kids will get hurt, and there's a difference between getting hurt and getting injured, right? We want our kids to have the experience of being hurt, what it feels like to experience pain and to recover and to get back up again. Injuries, yes, we don't want too many injuries, but injuries happen sometimes. And I think there's a few things that we as parents can do. One, not to put our children in positions that they did not get into themselves. So, for example, I see this a lot on the playground, you know, where parents will pick up the kid and have them go across the monkey bars. It's actually, it's interesting because then kids you have to be there. If you put your child in the position, to hang on to those monkey bars, they will let go and drop. But if you allow for them to climb up there, they won't push themselves necessarily beyond what they're capable of. They'll climb up there, they can't reach it, they go back down, right? Once they can reach it, they can maybe experiment a little bit. But if they're doing it in their own body, they're getting a sense of how their body feels in that space. And the other thing that we can do is be mindful of our responses to children. If we jump in too fast, we can actually interrupt their planned flow of movement. If we give too big of a reaction, they might take extra risks because they want to see our reaction and our response. So that's something also to be mindful of. The more even-keeled and neutral we can be, the better, or encouraging, the better. Two more things. One, be mindful of when you say be careful. Be careful is a really vague term, and as we all know, children listen through literal ears. So being careful is like this really abstract concept. So saying things like, watch out for the other kid, or, oh, you're putting your foot there, but there's nothing there for you to catch. It can be hard for us to think of these things in the moment when we're feeling panicked. But the more information we can give our kids around their physical body and how it's interacting in space, the better. And the final thing I'll say is that if you do have an active risk-taking child, and even if you don't, it's really great for you to channel that energy as best as you can. If you have a climbing kid, bring them to the rock wall. If you have a child who loves to go fast, then maybe put them in some kind of sport where, like skiing, downhill skiing, where they can go fast, or introduce them to water skiing, things like that. And the reason why I say that is because if you have a child who loves to climb, a climbing wall is designed for children to climb. Our bookcases and our stair handrails are not built for children to climb on. You might think, I don't want to give them any more ideas than they already have. But in one way, but if you do give them those opportunities, then you're kind of channeling that need to climb, because some children have that really strong need to climb, in a way that's appropriate for them, so that they will be less inclined to do it when they get home. And you have a place to tell them, oh, we don't climb on bookcases when we're at home. You can climb on the climbing wall. We'll go there tomorrow. Things like that. You can kind of like redirect it. So that's what I have to say. I hope you can take these to heart. I hope they're helpful to you as you go on your summer expeditions. If you're doing anything fun this summer, put it down in the comments. Let's see here. I want to see who's here. Justine from Wales. You know all about this. We used to teach together, girl. We had lots of risk takers. Sandy, hi. Hello, Nancy. Yes, outdoor school. Lots of great times for kids to climb on stumps, climb on rocks, jump off those stumps, jump off those rocks. And Carol, my mentor, who taught me so many of these things. Hello, so glad you're here. In terms of upcoming events, I just made an announcement. It's not really for the public, but I'm so excited because I'm going to be doing a talk on imposter syndrome at Amazon headquarters, which I'm so delighted about. Oh, good morning, Justine. That's great. We have almost 600 people signed up for this. I'm so excited. It's going to be a short talk, just about 15 minutes, followed by a 20-minute Q&A. And I'm also noticing there's a lot of interest from people who do not work for Amazon, who are interested in learning more about overcoming imposter syndrome. So there might be more on that coming. And otherwise, I'm just so happy to be back in my routine, happy to be back seeing clients live, and happy to be back on Late Night Snacks. So thanks so much. I hope you all have a wonderful evening of uninterrupted sleep tonight and always, and I will see you next week. Take care. Good night.